بسبب نقص التمويل، وذلك بدءا من الشهر المقبل. ونتابع أيضا في هذه النشرة: الاتحاد الأوروبي يصوت اليوم على قرار يقضي بتمديد تجميد أصول سيادية روسية، وموسكو تقول إن التغييرات في خطة السلام الأمريكية ليست في مصلحة روسيا إطلاقا. السلام عليكم. نبدأ من غزة. قالت مصادر في مستشفيات القطاع إن 14 شخصا بينهم 6 أطفال استشهدوا بسبب البرد وانهيار أكثر من 15 منزلا في مناطق عدة بمدينة غزة وفي شمالي القطاع منذ بدء المنخفض الجوي. وأفاد مراسل الجزيرة بانهيار
The suspect was pronounced dead at the scene. The autopsy later concluded that Grimes' death was caused by self-inflicted gunshots. In addition to his gun, troopers found multiple magazines on the suspect and under the vehicle's tailgate. They also found 2.6 kilos of methamphetamine, 257 grams of fentanyl powder, and 111 grams of fentanyl pills. Mary, Grimes' girlfriend, was unharmed during the incident, but was found to be in possession of a pistol. She was arrested and charged with misconduct involving weapons. Mary pled guilty and was sentenced to 2 years in prison. No law enforcement officers were injured during the incident. I'm Tom Morris Jr., and this is Fugitives Caught on Tape. Fugitives Caught on Tape. New episodes 10, 9, and 10 of Project Investigation on ABD. Watch this day on the ABD app. The Buffalo Wild Wings Big Six meal. Whoa! It's the perfect meal for two. That's so excited. What else did I get? But this was only $19.99. So what would you spend? BFF, Big Six meal for two for $19.99. Tony showed this Obama clip about her son. This sounds like hot dog water, boy. We need to do something about that. Every time, I'm going to show you how to rinse that odor out. That smells a lot better. Rinse Impossible odors gone. One wash.
It all starts here.
Something yours. Every day. Needs to care for you. Every day. NatureMade. The #1 pharmacist recommended vitamin and supplement brand. No matter where you live across the country, you can earn an affordable degree online from Southern New Hampshire University. I'm the first in my family to go to college. I have 4 kids and I wanted them to see me earn this degree. That's the issue, is committed to your success. If you're thinking about going back to school, you should do it. I'm very proud to be here today. It's nice to see all the families happy for their loved ones. I'm very proud of you. I'm so proud. I love you. Visit destination.com. I used to accept banking came with a lot of fees. With Chime, I can bank fee-free, get 3.5% APY on savings, and get cash back while building credit. I never expected much from where I bank, but Chime has got my back. Start banking fee-free at Chime. Travel can be a nightmare. Luckily, you rented your car on Turo. Skip the rental counter with Turo. Rent just about any car, just about anywhere. I wanted a personalized weight loss plan that understood me and my goals. That's what I found at Hers. Hers offers effective options, including oral medications and compounded GLP-1 injections. Start your weight loss journey today at forhers.com. Meanwhile, baby, let's check out that. What do you do when you cook? What your turkey's not? What is it? The amazing thing about the Real is that we can find the perfect, unique, yet in good condition for a price that works for me. It just feels like a better choice. Visit therealreal.com for $25 off your first purchase. You gotta change the way you think in order to change the way you feel. Help them take the leap this holiday. Give them a gift of Masterclass. Now with up to 50% off. You got the power to create a massive impact. Give them the tools to transform their career. I'm gonna teach you how to be more powerful. And craft their dream home. You're gonna be blown away at what you can create. Give them an extraordinary library of lessons.
Now, at an exceptional price. This is it. I love it.
Next, we're in Erie County, Ohio, where state police are in pursuit of a suspect they say just assaulted a trooper and is now driving recklessly. Earlier, the trooper pulled over this SUV for driving over 100 miles an hour in the 70 zone. Police smelled marijuana and suspected the driver's ID was fake. Called it in and requested backup. They asked the driver to step out of his vehicle. He complied, and the trooper patted him down. When he asked him to sit in the backseat of his cruiser, the driver refused, and things got physical. The suspect managed to make it back into his SUV, throw it in reverse, and slam into the trooper's cruiser before taking off. Now the trooper pursues the suspect as he drives recklessly on the turnpike. Up ahead, additional troopers prepare to lay down spice groups. Before long, the suspect approaches their traffic. Troopers up ahead block an exit ramp. That doesn't stop the suspect. Somehow manages to get around it. And continues to drive dangerously. As the fugitive approaches another exit, this trooper pulls ahead of him. As they both take the exit, the suspect sideswipes the trooper's cruisers. And immediately after coming to a stop, the suspect flees on foot. Troopers quickly take up pursuit to catch up to the fugitive at the bottom of this hill. The suspect, 45-year-old Michael Anderson, was charged with felonious assault, failure to comply with an order or signal of a police officer, vandalism, identity fraud, and other charges. Anderson pled guilty to the first 3 charges, and the rest were dropped. He was sentenced to a minimum of 4 years, 11 months, and a maximum of 5 years, 11 months in prison, with credit for 454 days served. Anderson will be eligible for parole after serving 2 years of his sentence.
Since the dawn of time, man has been plagued by itchy irritation. Like it clean. One man who realizes that weather is better. See how wet 2 legs with any beers or pricey listeners. Ditch the itch and switch to an extra large 2 years. That's clean. It's sour. With schizophrenia, it can feel like your symptoms decide what you do and who you can be. If you still have symptoms, be bold and ask your healthcare provider about Cobenfy. Cobenfy is not an antipsychotic. It's a different kind of treatment. Cobenfy is your overall improvement across a range of schizophrenia symptoms. And in clinical studies, most people saw no substantial weight gain. Don't take an allergic to Cobenfy. Have trouble emptying your bladder or stomach. Certain liver problems or untreated narrow-ankle glaucoma. Serious side effects such as urinary retention, worsening liver, kidney, bile duct, and all other problems. Slow stomach emptying, serious allergic reactions, narrow-ankle glaucoma, increased heart rate, and side effects of those with kidney problems may occur. Don't drive or use heavy machinery until you know how Cobenfy affects you. Seek help right away if you have hives, swelling, face, smell of tongue throat, hoarseness, difficulty speaking, breathing, or emptying your bladder. Abdominal cooking from empty. I like these personalized, like my coffee. So when my doctor prescribed Vyvgart and Trulo self-injection for my generalized myasthenia gravis, it personalized my treatment goals. Vyvgart and Trulo can improve daily abilities and reduce muscle weakness.
It's my treatment, my way.
Vyvgart and Trulo improving NOAC.
It's not like you know where I go.
Self-injection fits my plans. Do not use Vyvgart and Trulo if you're allergic to its ingredients. It may increase infection risk and cause serious allergic or infusion or injection-related reactions. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, fever, recent or planned vaccinations, allergy history, or kidney problems. Most common side effects include respiratory and urinary tract infections, headache, and injection site reactions.
My Vyvgart Hexachlor self-injection.
Reducing side symptoms. That's treatment? My way. Ask your neurologist about Vyvgart and Trulo. Holiday meals become so easy to prep, cook, and clean. You feel like the chef of your kitchen. I believe how this is. That cheese so delicious. Sweet taste of milk and away. Sinner make the holiday memorable. It's 5 minutes with the Honey Baked Ham Company. 2 orders a week. I'm gonna do everything I can to just.
Yeah, tell me everything you know. I thought I was a busy person. You said you never. I got it. For your recording, the first 48 week season premieres Thursday, January 1st. For a private investigation, only on A&E. Wisconsin. Local PD pursued a suspect. They say just pulled a gun on another driver during a road rage incident. Earlier, dispatch received a call from the alleged victim, who told officers that he was still following the suspect and provided his location. Sergeant Jordan J.S. spotted the vehicle and called it in. What's going on? What's going Now, as the suspect drives recklessly on Jacksonville Road, flowing through this red light, and repeatedly driving in the wrong direction, Sergeant Jasmine manages to stay close. Soon, backup arrives with Sergeant Drew Forcott in the opposite lane. Now, back in a residential neighborhood, United's car starts having issues. On 18th Street, Nelson Central Terrace Lane. The driver makes a turn, hits another curve, and then appears to come to a stop. When Sergeant Jasmine crosses the road, takes off again. Multiple movements down behind him, and another block is passed on ahead. Road rage suspect makes a desperate move. Sergeant Jasmine pops the fence, and seconds later, takes the suspect down. as the sergeant worked on getting the suspect in cuffs. Backup arrives. The suspect, whom police soon discovered, is already on probation for drunk driving and eluding an officer charges. His ID as 29-year-old David Ian. Let's go. My feet are hurt. After securing Ian in the backseat of a cruiser, officers are surprised to learn that his fiancé has been following him throughout the entire pursuit.
I think it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Listen. Just as precaution. I was listen. You haven't done it. You don't know the answer. It's fine. Okay. What does it look like? It's a tampon. It's got CMSC. I don't have the valid flag.
Officers searched the area where the suspect was captured and located the hand glove. And then find ammo in his car that matches the gun. Yannick was arrested in part for first-degree recklessly endangering safety, illegal possession of a firearm, fleeing, eluding an officer, and other charges. He pled guilty to those 3 charges, and the others were dismissed. He was sentenced to 5 years in state prison and 5 years of extended supervision. And, as a result of these new charges, probation in his other case was revoked. He was ordered to serve 4 years and 2 months in prison. The 2 sentences will run consecutively. The victim in the road rage incident was, according to police, Jake, but unarmed. Thanks for watching. Even this spot on tape. I'm Tom Morris Jr. We'll see you next time. First up, we're in Seattle, Washington, where police are chasing 2 suspects accused of armed carjacking. Earlier that day, a bank security cameras captured a customer withdrawing money from a drive-up ATM. He was approached by this man, brandished the gun, and demanded the customer hand over his keys and cell phone. The suspect and an accomplice then took off in the victim's car. The victim flagged down help, called 911. Minutes later, Seattle police officer Terry Person spotted the vehicle from her cruiser. Now, after Officer Person initiates her pursuit, the suspect begins to drive her back. Leaving from traffic, driving on the shoulder, and from red lights, all at speeds ranging from 50 to 80 miles an hour. After hitting the curb on a wide turn, the suspect's vehicle sustains fire damage, losing part of the vehicle's rear car. Then, after a dangerous move across lanes and exit the interstate, police noticed the passenger tossing a gun into these bushes. Eventually, as the tires continue to wear down, they come to a stop near this church. The suspect in the passenger seat, later ID as 20-year-old Ahmad Washington, immediately surrenders, while the driver makes a run.
This church here. Get out, lay down. No.
He pled guilty to robbery, unlawful possession of a firearm, and attempting to elude. For robbery, he was sentenced to 15 to 36 weeks at a Washington State Department of Children, Youth, and Families juvenile rehabilitation. For possession of a firearm and attempting to elude, he was sentenced to 30 days in detention. Each term he served consecutively. Also ordered no contact with the victim. Hashi was charged with first-degree criminal assistance and taking a vehicle without permission. He pled not guilty, was released to electronic home confinement, and his case is pending. Next, on the ground and in the air in Ocala, Florida, Marion County deputies were in pursuit of a convicted child sex offender. Earlier, the Sheriff's Department received a tip that 48-year-old Todd Marchesano, a fugitive wanted for failing to comply with sex offender reporting requirements, had been seen driving around in this minivan.
All right, guys, he's pulling into the front bank place. U-Haul place right here for him.
When deputies spotted the man and initiated a traffic stop, Marchesano seemed to comply, but then he pulled back onto the road.
All right, guys, we're 31 northbound.
Made a dangerous turn in traffic, and took off.
What do you call it? I got it. Coming across the bridge, crossing the tracks.
Now, deputies on the ground back off and block traffic as the county's Air One helicopter tracks the fugitive, takes command of the high-speed pursuit.
الدعم السريع قصفت ظهر اليوم ساحة بالقرب من مركز للشرطة في حي الطيبة وسط البلاد. وفي الأثناء
Suspect as 20-year-old Cameron to Michael Hopkins, the employee's ex-boyfriend. And this was not the first time he'd been accused of this. A year earlier, according to court records, Hopkins was arrested after dragging the same woman out of a vehicle at gunpoint, forcing her into his vehicle and fleeing. He was charged with making terroristic threats, kidnapping, and other crimes before being released on a $162,000 bond. Now, dispatch relays info to officers on duty.
So there's two black male about 5 miles short hair, wearing black shirt, black jacket, black jeans. Female wearing black tights or black big-top shirt.
And it's not long before Clayton County Officer Jacob Collins spots the vehicle driving through this intersection. Officer Collins attempts to track his stop, but the suspect speeds away. As the chase continues, the fugitive increases his speed and begins driving recklessly.
We're on the wrong side of the road, now you get out the traffic, speed now over about 105.
As the suspect approaches the center median, he runs into trouble. The damage slows the fugitive's car, and Officer Collins catches up just as he makes this turn. This maneuver is a success, as it brings the fugitive's vehicle to a halt. But then, I don't know. As Collins and another officer take cover, the suspect continues shooting. As backup arrives, officers plan their next move. Using less lethal projectiles, officers shoot out the suspect's back window and then fire a chemical irritant into the car in hopes of forcing him out. Drop your hand!
See you saying that back window. Keep your hands like a cell. Keep your hands at the window.
Eventually, the fugitive emerges from the vehicle.
Coming out? No, I got this. Come out. I'm coming with the shield. Come out. Go. Go. Come out the window. Give me your thing. Like the
Cascada do Witch.
Step out. Step out. Get hands up and step out. You can help her. There you go. Step out. Step on the ground. On the ground. On the ground. Just go. Get on the ground. Crawl to us. Crawl to us. Crawl to us.
The suspect complies and crawls toward officers. After he's cuffed, they check his car, where they find the woman unresponsive. She'd been shot several times and was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect's weapon was found inside the vehicle. Officers gave the suspect water for his burning eyes before transporting him to Clayton County Jail. Hopkins was charged with murder, kidnapping, aggravated assault, aggravated stalking, possession of a weapon, and other charges. If convicted, he could be facing the death penalty.
Crime in progress. This is from your Thursday, January 1st. Our private investigation only on A&E.
All these people consider the source of the history. He's going to bitch of age my collection.
This year, he wants to be the best gift you can
It starts with gently cooking our food to give your dog the nutrients they need without filter processing. Get 50% off your first box only at thefarmersdog.com.
Nature is local university, so we can focus on what truly matters. And we do it on our time. Get the temple. Walden University. Set a course for change.
I tried every last summer thing, and then I found Nigel. It works differently against the root cause of damage. Its active ingredient is 10 times more effective at fighting fungus than the primary cause of damage. Say goodbye to stubborn damage with Nigel. Now available in a shampoo plus conditioner.
Watching my mom struggle with her UTIs helped us both out. Then she found Eucora. Eucora offers UTI relief and science-backed supplements for proactive urinary health. Life's too short to become old like UTIs. Join us at eucora.com.
And sold Carvana. What's wrong, John? I set a week to sell my car. They pick it up tomorrow and they pick it on the spot. We're supposed to do all this time. Visit a museum all week, learn Italian. We're going to do la macchina Carvana. What are we going to do? Sell your car at Carvana today.
Look at this new kitchen.
Everything is so stylish. Nice, right?
I taught you well.
And was it something?
The kitchen of your dreams. Something I'm ready to move in. And your mom. At price you didn't dream possible. IKEA, dream of possibilities. I knew that I wasn't in good health. I did try a GLP-1 once before. There was no support. Mochi taught me I was capable of living a healthy life. With Mochi, I lost 60 pounds. And now I get to live a nice long life with my kids. Check out joinmochi.com. You know it's not good, right? Next. You forgot the shots from him.
If history has taught us anything, it's not to root against the underdog. Against impossible odds. You don't stand down. You swim. Couching. Trade on.
Over 10,000 new arrivals drop every day. So you can shop all this right here. The best part? 90% off. The real deal. Authenticated luxury resale. Shop now with code TRR20 for 20% off. Terms apply. Take the leap this holiday. Get up to 50% off Masterclass. You have the power to create a massive impact. Get the tools to transform your life.
I'm going to teach you how to be more powerful.
Now at an exceptional price. I love it.
Next, we're in Washington County, Florida, where a state trooper and two deputies were in pursuit of a suspect who fled from officers and is now driving on the wrong side of the road. Earlier, Trooper Timothy Elmore was on patrol when he noticed this car with improper tinting on its side windows. When he checked the license plates, they came up as expired and registered to a different vehicle. Then, as Trooper Elmore pulled up alongside the car, he says the driver crouched down as if trying to hide his face. So he initiated a traffic stop. But the suspect did not comply. He began driving dangerously, hitting speeds over 100 miles an hour, traveling in the opposite lane of traffic. Going through a stop sign and making several illegal U-turns. Now, Washington County deputies Jeremy Anderson and Dustin Rogers, traveling in the same vehicle, joined the pursuit as the suspect continued driving recklessly, nearly slamming head-on into oncoming cars. As the chase continues on local roads, Trooper Elmore closes in, and the suspect suddenly slams on his brakes. The impact of the crash tears the rear bumper off the suspect's car. But he keeps going. About a minute later, Houston hits his brakes again.
Where they come?
Despite the suspect's evasive moves, the trooper manages to execute a successful pit maneuver, which also disables the suspect's vehicle. But the fugitive refuses to give up. Runs across the road, hops the fence, and runs into a wooded area as all three officers pursue. Less than a minute later, with the officers still in the woods, the fugitive hops back over the fence and runs up the road. The three officers return to their vehicles to plan their next move. The deputies get back in their cruiser and head toward a side road. As they turn onto the road, deputies spot the suspect hiding in the brush. Deputies apprehend the suspect and drive him back to the crash site where backup has arrived.
What's up, big dog? Big Daddy. How about it, buddy? What's your name? Alex. Alex? What's your last name?
The suspect, 35-year-old Alex Daniel, has a criminal history, including a conviction for aggravated battery.
January 20th. How about that? How about apples, buddy? I said, well, I got to go really, really bad, bro. Like, I'm not the one, I don't want to throw in the car, bro. I don't want to throw in your car, bro. Ow. That's so sexual of you.
During the search of Daniel's vehicle, officers found approximately 1 gram of methamphetamine and a loaded Glock pistol magazine. He was arrested and charged with aggravated fleeing, aggravated battery on an officer, possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, possession of a controlled substance, and Daniel pled no contest to a host of charges, including battery, fleeing, drug and weapons possession, and other charges. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison with credit for 166 days served.
Sunshine is our first line of defense against sensitivity. When people are experiencing sensitivity, they're experiencing an exposed layer of the tube. Sunshine helps by creating a protective barrier on those exposed areas. Now with Sunshine, because it works, CRDP is no walk in the park.
That's true.
But I say, this one makes really self-protection.
Same. It's the first major innovation in CIDP treatment in over 30 years.
Well, I still have you.
I have a chance to
Live business. True love is proven to significantly reduce the rate of symptoms getting worse.
and I can treat my CIDP with a 150 injection in about 30 seconds.
United
dosage are unusual if you're allergic to its ingredients. It may increase infection risk and cause serious allergic or infusion or injection-related reactions. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, fever, recent or planned vaccinations, allergy history, or kidney problems. The most common side effects include respiratory and urinary tract infections, headache, and injection site reactions. I'm in Fairway to the belt. I'm in the road by number 1. Ask your neurologist about their learnings and low result injection. Take care of it. It'll help fill the schools your immune system may have. Take care. It gives you 7 key immune supporting nutrients, including vitamin C, D, and zinc. It's our most complete support yet. For the acute treatment of migraine with and without worrying adults. Nurtec ODT can provide relief in 2 hours, which can last up to 2 days. Don't take it allergic to Nurtec ODT. Allergic reactions can occur even days after use. Get help right away for trouble breathing, rash, swelling of the face, mouth, tongue, or throat. High blood pressure and Raynaud syndrome can occur. Get help for high blood pressure, numbness, coolness, pain, or color changes in fingers and toes. Common side effects is nausea. Ask your doctor about Nurtec ODT. Come on. They're relying on us. We're relying on you. Please donate now. You founded your cutting company because you love the ocean, not spreadsheets. You need to hire. I need Indeed. Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, benefits will find it easier, so you can hire easier. Visit Indeed.com/hire. Indeed. We look at that night. I never forget his face. I'll just refuse to give up. 1 moment. It can change your whole life.
Secretary of Tampa, Florida, the local PD and highway patrol are engaged in a high-speed pursuit of a man wanted for battery on a law enforcement officer. Earlier, police say the suspect fled from a traffic stop. After running his plate, they discovered that the driver, 80-year-old Travis Lee Gregg, had multiple active warrants for several crimes, including aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer, driving while license revoked, and reckless driving. Now, the department's 8 agents begin joint officers on the ground in pursuit of the fugitive.
He's cutting out a traffic front off of this. He's going to Challenger that play. Therefore,
Then he filed recklessly across multiple counties. Tampa PD reached out to the Florida Highway Patrol for support.
I'm trying to find it. Yeah, I think they already called for it. I already speak for the plane. So about that's not our trailer. I see it. Yeah, it's second floor around.
As the case continues, the traffic begins to thicken. A bird trooper faces the fugitive along this emergency lane. Suddenly, about 40 minutes into the pursuit, the suspect loses control of the car and drives off the side of the road near a tree line. The suspect gets out of the car and runs into the woods. The five county ticks finally comes to an end as the fugitive surrenders and officers walk him out of the woods.
If you would prefer their empathy, I think they'll do it. And we're tolerant for it. Sorry.
During a search of the vehicle, officers found a red handgun on the passenger side floorboard and 13 9mm rounds. Fred was taken to the Sumter County Jail, charged with felony fleeing for attempting to elude, driving while license suspended, weapon possession, DUI, and other charges. He pled no contest to the first three charges, and the remaining charges were dropped. Fred was sentenced to 7 years in prison, with credit for 304 days served, plus 1 year life revocation and bond. That's it for this episode of Music Stuff on Tape. I'm Tom. See you next time.
أن الدوري الفرنسي محجوب أو إلى حد بعيد هامشي غير الصريح على سبيل
Citation. Just plain Jimmy. You hear that offer. Thank you. Powerful man in history. daring to get out of trouble. The tendency to mistake appearances for reality. The feeling that if someone seems to be out there, their reality must be real. This habit makes the seamless blend that very absolutely is fun. The trick is simple. You simply blend in with those around you, and the better you blend in, the less suspicious you become. Remembering it takes patience and humility to find out where it comes. Put on the mask and comes issues. Do not despair at having to wear such a black mask. It is often your unreadability that draws people to you and makes you appear upwards of power. But how do people apply these ways to fool you? Simply dangle an object you seem to desire, a goal you seem to aim for in front of people's eyes, and they will take to where it's for reality. Once their eyes focus on the decoy, they will fail to notice what you pick out. Politicians use this all the time. The first historical example would be decoy objects of desire and picking up. Fall in love, the Muslim, Portuguese, Mussolini was inexperienced in the art of love. He confided in the infamous Renaissance of 17th century France, who instructed him on how to seduce a difficult young countess. She made him follow a plan over a number of weeks. The Marquise would be appearing in public, always surrounded by beautiful women in the very places the countess would be expected to see them. He was supposed to assume an air of nonchalance. This increased the jealousy of the young countess, who was not sure of his interest in him. The Marquise, unable to control his passion, wrote for Nero's plan and urged her out to the countess that he loved. After this omission, the countess no longer found him interesting and avoided him. The whole premise of dating is based on games, wild moves, and being unpredictable. Through this player feels so secure it becomes an artist showing passion, a door closed that will never open again. In seduction set up conflicting signals such as desire and indifference. You not only fool people over scant, you may claim their desire to possess you. Another example, Otto von Bismarck, became Prime Minister of Russia. Otto von Bismarck was a deputy in the Russian Parliament at the time when many felt that it was possible to go to war against Austria and defeat him. Bismarck wanted to go to war, but he knew that the king was not in favor of it. He also knew the Russian army was not prepared, so he devised a clever coup. He saved his praises from the Austrians and covering up the madness. Many deputies changed their votes, and Bismarck announced his real intentions, arguing it was bad to wait now, and 5 years later, he would not have won. Most Russians wanted to go to war at that moment and mistakenly believed their army to be superior to the Austrians. Had he gone to the king, his sincerity would have been doubted. By giving misleading statements about wanting peace and concealing his true purpose, Bismarck's speech catapulted him to the position of prime minister. He later had the country go to war against the Austrians at the right time when he felt Russia was more capable and united with Germany. Yet another example, the Duke of Marlborough used this in the Spanish succession during the War of the Spanish Succession in 1711. The Duke of Marlborough, head of the English army, wanted to destroy a key French fort because it protected a vital fort for the France. But he knew that if he destroyed it, the French would realize what it was and would advance down the line. Instead, then he merely captured the fort and garrisoned it with all his troops, making it appear as if he wanted it for some purpose of his own. The French flagged the fort and did recapture it. Once they had it back, they destroyed it, figuring that the Duke had wanted it for Soviet reason. Now that the fort was gone, their road was not protected, and Marlborough could easily march into France. Relax.
ولم يكن لبنانيا.
During the Cold War of the 1950s and 60s, as is now notorious, a slew of British science students passed secrets to the Soviets. They went undetected for years because they were apparently decent chaps who had gone to all the right schools and fact the old knowing that were perfectly. So, I paid close attention to all the feedback I've received from you guys and switched up the reviewing of the book's content to a ring deeper. I will be lining better this way. And please let me know. Thanks for watching.
day with simple and easy to use steps, like making short their on the most logical rate for their business. So check us out on pg.com/shoptalk and all other streaming platforms. Hey, thanks viewers, and welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for enabling us to send your way another wealth of everyday psychology. Let's explore. I hope you, whoever it is, on the silent treatment, or maybe you've been on the receiving end of some silent treatment. It feels uncomfortable, right? Stifling even. George Bernard Shaw once said, "The worst listening to all your feeling cultures. It's not to hate them, but to be indifferent to them. That is the essence of any family." There are many psychological reasons to explain why you may feel that way, but even more than just how hard from getting someone's emotional touchpoint. Many people believe that getting the silent treatment is a dignified response to an argument, but it's not. The silent treatment is a form of ostracism. The perpetrator often deflects, evades, subterfuges, or rejects their empathy, thus freezing you out completely. Their withdrawal leaves you feeling confused and hurt, until you eventually get used to it. According to the professor of psychology, Kipling William, at Virginia University, it's a form of passive abuse. It's employed with the intent to punish someone who thus yields harmful repercussions. Here are 6 reasons why the silent treatment can harm you. Number 1, it dehumanizes the other person. Did you know early civilizations equated ostracization to death because it was interpreted as expulsion from humanity and even expulsion from oneself? We are social beings designed to form and maintain relationships. Social ostracizing via silent treatment frustrates these relationships. According to a 1976 study, treating people as less than human also tends to dehumanize the perpetrator. Therefore, being ostracized leads to people feeling less human and seeing the person alienated as less human as well. Number 2, it emotionally manipulates the other person. If you've been a victim of the silent treatment, have you ever begun to doubt your own understanding of reality? Many psychologists classify the silent treatment as a form of manipulation. It's a way for the perpetrator to maintain control of a real conversation or argument. The silent treatment is equivalent to gaslighting in the sense that it makes the person receive their treatment or question what they didn't want. Hence, it's a form of emotional abuse. Number 3, it denotes rejection. You hesitate to reach out with your hand. It's to feel like there's a good chance of being turned away, or it makes you feel ashamed of the effort. During an argument, it's easy to justify your cold shoulder. It might seem like a good de-escalation tactic, but in reality, it's exacerbating the problem. The silent treatment serves to deny partners basic communicative needs, and therefore the person on the receiving end may feel rejected, especially if there's a physical aspect to de-ostracization. Withholding of physical contact from the spouse or partner will make it harder to the stability of your relationship. Number 4, it instills self-esteem issues. Have you begun to constantly criticize yourself? Are you apologetic for every little thing? Cold shoulder is a very active way of demeaning someone, telling them that they're worthless. say something, lady. I don't have to right now. We can discuss this later. Actually, I'm not personal leader. Concentrate. Don't let it be lip service. Make sure that you keep the line of communication open. You're using accusatory phrases. Now, tell me your problems out. We hope you're able to give your insight into several ways the silent treatment can harm you. Do any of these describe your experiences? Or did any of these points describe you? Leave a comment down below about your encounter if you'd like. Please feel free to share any thoughts you have as well. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button and share it with those out there perhaps through the silent treatment. Don't forget to subscribe to Psych2Go and hit the notification bell for more new videos. Thanks for watching and we'll see you soon.
Across Namibia. Between 1904 and 1908, German colonial forces displaced and killed up to 80% of the Herero tribe, as many as 80,000 people. Other ethnic groups like the Nama and the San also suffered grievously at the hands of the colonizers. 10,000 Nama died, half their population, as well as an unknown number of San. This is widely considered as the first genocide of the 20th century. In many ways, Imperial Germany's treatment of the indigenous people of Namibia foreshadowed the barbarity of the Nazi Holocaust against the Jews and other groups during World War II.
The concentration camps were really, that's where almost a lot of our people perished through malnutrition, and a lot of them were forced to work on the railway, and then basically worked at
Jefta Nguahirimo has fighting for international acknowledgement of the genocide
cable loss and much more. Plus, there's
restitution
some
for the
new
descendants of the victims.
insert your key. Give it a turn, and the lock programs itself. They make locks for
me, and then when I started as an accountant, I started learning more and ever since I've never rested.
The 292 currently in the 65 Chevy just for mock-up.
It seems
Fastest
the hard
actual
work
engine will go for contact.
had
It's
finally
a big
paid
door.
off.
Das jetzt Zeichen dieser Ereignisse ist auch offiziell das, was sie gewesen sind. Wir bekennen uns damit auch zu unseren Verantwortlichen. Und in diesem historischen und moralischen Verantwortung Nachkommen der Opfer um Vergebung bitten.
A few months later, Namibia and Germany announced a draft agreement. Both sides said it would bring closure to a dark chapter of history. Germany would formally apologize to Namibia and pay €1.1 billion in compensation spread over 30 years. But for Jefta and many others, the agreement was deeply flawed. The deal was presented
Quite a very important march because it is raising a number of issues, rejecting the 1 billion quantum that the Germans wants to pay us, the same amount of money that the Germans have already given to the Germans for the last 1 year.
Jefta travels from his home in the United States to Pretoria against the agreement. He visited Namibia's parliament, which was built using forced labor of Herero and Tehuelche people.
Standing on this simply because this area, there used to be a concentration camp where our ancestors were kept and were forced to work as slave labor. My grandmother used to tell me about this.
It began in 1904 after the Herero and Nana rebelled against German colonizers who were aggressively seizing their land. In response, the head of the military administration of what was then German Southwest Africa, General Lothar von Potter, issued an order to his troops to exterminate all Herero, men, women, and children. The Germans herded the survivors in force in the Omahiki Desert. They intend to kill them through hunger and thirst.
Is how people perish. And the dispossession of their land, dispossession of the cattle, and the concentration camp. My grandmother was captured by the Germans and sent to Lutz, Attack Island, concentration camp. From there, slave labor, some of them died, and the few who survived, basically that's why I'm here today.
His grandfather's mother
was too old, had to walk, and she was left behind. They left her under a tree to die. And that's actually the story that really sparked my interest, is like how
Great improvements on some very capable off-roaders here recently. Our Jeep Wrangler Unlimited showing to the shop nearly stopped. Doesn't last long.
This is what Jeff decided to document the Herero opposition to the He traveled
remote area as a communities or white industrial.
35 or 117 wheel. Finish up the exterior and entire bumper, side steps, on the bench, and
The negotiations failed to secure direct compensation for the Herero, so the 1.1 billion euros which Germany plans to pay will be administered by the Namibian government.
I'm to raise my collect. Mercy, stay away from my home.
The once prosperous Herero, having lost their land and their much-prized cattle after the genocide, now live, for the most part, in poverty. Just like everyone else here, Benoni Kauri is struggling to survive.
Shuno viungura nakatiti ufula kusha ya tunduna mwendo ere kwa neseno mafula no ya kuskole ni vatfere ukwa ove ukwena viungura urishi nene bifula na yuri me shima shipehena shino irinjika pena shina wanasema eso genda kuskole koma eso kuria skole apiti huna nikapena shina katiata kana pena ye tupei mariwa uri vitu ta deneka tuna shina munyerugo eno mudiro mumwedu po mari ambo utitima muntu pembo muntu kavombo ke matranda uvari utatu nanga ndoshunda sikwata sana siri weshunda abiko murungu ukuja ninikire ngo kutupambisha mari waurishiri.
Without some kind of intervention, her children are unlikely to escape the cycle of poverty. And making life even harder, the government had recently decreed that they must move to an even more remote location.
Mbajira shwa kakango no skole kwiri munuma kavala mungapi mopendro pongapi akavala pongapi shwa pendro pondano o iri nduma kaonje o iri mbare na kavala ko skole shime mbanjo skole ya hiti.
That's too much. It's too emotional for me. The government has abandoned them.
And it's not just in the villages that poverty amongst the Herero is rife. It's the same in urban areas. Swakopmund is a coastal town popular with German tourists. But on the outskirts of the town, Herero people live in bleak, informal settlements. Lawrence Ndura moves from the countryside to the city in search of a better life.
He has been here for 9 years now at this place, and this is where he lives. No electricity, no running water. All the cattle died of drought. And so there's no work, so the best they can come is come here, try to forage some food from in the city.
Lawrence invites Jefta into his home.
Traditional things.
Are you selling it?
My girlfriend selling. Do it yourself. This the type of a genocide.
Lawrence tells us that to make ends meet, his girlfriend sells these dolls to German tourists.
Before the genocide, my great-grandfather was involved in the concentration camp. He was at the Luther's concentration camp.
At the Luther's concentration?
Yeah, between 1904 and 1978, genocide.
So what do you think about the Germans today?
Today, they have to pay for what they did to our grandparents, because that one is the one that take long in our lifetime. Money is the only thing that can make changes. We can buy our land back, we can buy our animals, and then we start with the farming process. Yeah, we're living like we feel that we are in a concentration camp, because the life that we are living here is not good to us.
These young people over here you see running in the streets over here, they will have nothing to lose but to demand their land back. And that's exactly what's going to happen. This situation is unacceptable, and it's unacceptable.
This sense of economic and political marginalization among the Herero has heightened their mistrust of SWAPO, the ruling party in Namibia since 1990. It's amplified the feeling that the government mishandled the genocide negotiations with Germany. We tried to put this to the Namibian government, but despite numerous requests, no government official granted us an interview. We did, however, manage to speak to Professor Fanuel Kapama, one of Namibia's chief negotiators. He himself is Herero.
My great-grandmother was a brother of Samuel Maharero, who led the Herero people during the war of colonial resistance.
Kapama told us the agreement was the best the Namibian government could achieve, given Germany's tough negotiating tactics.
They have always shied away from even mentioning the word genocide. But the bigger challenge was on the quantum, which has remained a very key issue to the point that it almost derailed. Then there is no reference to the word reparation.
The negotiations, in our view, have been for political and moral reasons. This was not a legal question. We avoided legal speech to avoid this kind of misunderstanding, and reparation is a legal term, and therefore we spoke about healing the wounds, which means in a sense probably the same, but not in a legal term.
But Kapama says the negotiations were less about healing wounds than they were about avoiding legal liability.
That was a very heavy debate. Later on, they came around and said that, okay, if we agree to pay reparation, then we will do away with development aid. And we said, no, those are two different things for the victim community.
And there's a good reason why Germany is keen to avoid any payments being labeled as reparations. Henning Melber, a Namibian academic, explains why.
There were war crimes during World War II committed in Italy, in Greece, in Poland, and in other Eastern European societies, where local courts there ruled that the German government should pay reparations to the descendants.
Germany has refused to accept liability for such claims. Melber says if reparations were paid to Namibia, that might set a legal precedent.
Then these rulings would be seen in another light, and then it would become really expensive for Germany.
So, with direct reparations seemingly off the table, what about the Herero demand that they should get their land, or at least some of it, returned to them? Any discussion about the return of land must involve its current owners, mostly white Namibian farmers who possess vast tracts of it. Gerd Volbling is a German Namibian who speaks fluent Herero. He owns a 15,000-hectare farm in the Waterberg, the region which used to be inhabited by the Herero until the Germans began their campaign of annihilation against them in 1904.
My great-great-grandfather came here in 1907, which was just after the German Herero War, and farming here and living in close relationship with the Herero communities bordering to our fence, and it's very much farming related, but of course it brings together our different cultures as well.
But when it comes to addressing the past, Volbling, like other white German Namibian farmers in the region, deny that this land used to belong to the Herero.
This land was 100 years before that, it was not inhabited by Herero-speaking people, to the knowledge I do have.
While touring the farm, Jefter raises the land issue.
I don't think just buying land and giving it back will improve the situation dramatically. I doubt that one. I think we have to develop the area, we have to develop the people, investing in a better tomorrow, like education and infrastructure, schools and hospitals, that people really feel that their life is improving.
Jefter wants to know if they can reach a common understanding about the past.
Do you deny that there was a genocide, or you don't deny it? I mean,
I don't question the harm which was done to our Herero people. Yeah? They lost many of their land, they lost almost all their cattle, and they lost half, let's say half of the population.
Yet Volbling doesn't believe the mass murder of Herero was sanctioned by the government of the time.
If there would have been the initial thought of eradicating a certain tribe, but there was not an intention, and the relationship to the Holocaust is for me, it is far-fetched.
But Jefter's next visit illustrates that for many Herero, historical links between the genocide and the Holocaust aren't far-fetched at all. He travels to Shark Island, which was once a notorious concentration camp. Herero and Nama, who survived death in the desert, were brought here and used as slave labor.
This side is where our ancestors were kept, and the Germans set up this concentration camp, and they used to call, historians call it the death camp. My great-grandmother was at this site, and luckily later when the people started complaining, then she was transferred to Swakopmund.
But most of the Herero and Nama who were held here didn't survive.
A lot of people perished. Death and starvation was what killed a lot of people over here, and when they died, their body was thrown in the sea.
And those who weren't worked to death were subjected to other horrors.
And this is why they did the medical experiment on the Nama and Herero people. Medical experiment. Based on my grandmother, they were fascinated with some of the Herero people. They have like a blood, their gums are like darker than others. So they will scrape that until it bleeds to find out what is the cause of that. I don't know what was the whole point, but the bottom line is this was their biggest fear was to go to that medical center. They knew that once you go there, you are not going to be alive.
In that medical center, prisoners were subjected to many forms of systematic atrocities, like being injected with diseases like smallpox, typhus, and tuberculosis, or poisons like arsenic.
They were also used as human material for eugenic research.
In order to conduct this pseudo-scientific research, German doctors sent the skulls of deceased prisoners back to Germany.
Thousands of human remains, skulls, skeletons, and so on, were transported back to the German Empire. Those human remains are in German basements of museums, of hospitals, and only in 2011, I think, for the first time, a few of them were returned to Namibia.
The man overseeing these inhumane practices was Dr. Eugene Fischer. He and other colonial officials
later became prominent leading figures in the race ideology of Nazi Germany.
These are archives.
But there is no official recognition at Shark Island of the crimes which were perpetrated here.
There is no mention about the Hereros at all. It's now a camping site, so I'm sure a lot of Germans, they come here and camp, and Namibians, they come and camp as if this is just a normal place.
So where to now for the Herero in their struggles for justice and reparations?
What do you say to German Namibians who say there wasn't a genocide here? That's not fair.
What do I say to them? Nothing. We are going to get our land back. And how we're going to take it, I don't know. But I'm certain, just the way I was certain that one day Germany will be willing to apologize properly, just the way I was certain that Germany one day will pay reparation, even though they're saying we are going to give you like a gesture or development, and it's just, things will happen. The Herero people are resilient people. From what we have gone through, what my people have gone through, from genocide, dispossession, concentration camp, and for my father and my great-grandparents to regain, to reconstitute themselves and send me to school, and they walk straight. They didn't walk with their head down. And so that's the way I'm going to walk. I will walk straight with my head up.
Over a century ago, German colonial forces in Namibia killed tens of thousands of Herero and Nama people in what many call the first genocide of the 20th century.
They were also used as human material for eugenic research.
They were starved, enslaved, and exterminated, many dying in concentration camps. Germany offered 1.1 billion euros over 30 years, but called it development aid and not reparations. The descendants of the victims rejected the offer. Today, many Herero and Nama still live in poverty, dispossessed of land, wealth, and recognition. Germany has apologized, but still doesn't use the word reparations, avoiding legal accountability.
The negotiations, in our view, have been for political and moral reasons. And reparation is a legal term, and therefore we spoke about healing the wounds.
But for the Nama and Herero, the fight continues for land, for reparations, and for justice.
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you joining us at our next investor.
Data. We're using more and more all the time. Sending text messages, storing photos in the cloud, watching videos online. Billions and billions of emails, documents, spreadsheets, calendars. And then there is AI.
Hi, I'm Gemini.
Its craving for data is extraordinary. But all this data must be stored somewhere. In big warehouses like this. Increasingly, these data centers are being built in areas where water is scarce, like Mexico.
Imagínense, aquí tenemos nuestros niños en las escuelas una semana para no venir a clase por lo mismo de la falta de agua.
Que no se va a cosechar porque no va a llover, hay pronósticos de que no hay lluvia. Son 8:35 y no ha llegado. No hay agua.
Data's thirst for water is unquenchable, and the natural resources required to serve the data center's demand